Who are we sitting here with today?
Krosswordze, member of Department H, member of Love on Records, member of Lone Gunman, and many extenuated families. What's going on?
Okay, first question of the day is, how did you get started in the rap?
I started actually rapping as a kid, like everybody else. But mine started because it was fat jokes on the bus. And, dudes would, back then we were all beatboxing, and dudes would start cracking your mama jokes, but they'd be rhyme with them. And then dudes would start rapping, and then they would start cracking jokes. And since I was a fat kid, it was, you can't, Fat Tyrone can't rap, Fat Tyrone can't do whatever. But, once Fat Tyrone got, angry enough, I would start rapping back. And then, I would always have nicer flows and, nicer quips than they would, because I would, use cartoon references, and everybody would get them. And then that's how I started, as far as when I started rapping, but I didn't take it serious until I was like 9. And then, because everybody was, Treacherous 3, all the cats, were coming out, and we were just like, those cats are fresh, those cats are hot,
Okay, what's the significance behind your rap name?
As I got older, I had a propensity to be able to, spit words really fast, use big words in alternating rhyming currents, and, also able to, be more confusing than most of my other friends. And so, dudes are like, I'm all complex, you know what I'm saying? And, I wouldn't really write rhymes in a normal format to where, you would write them on lines. I would use every angle of the paper to write rhymes because, we didn't have a lot of notebook paper. So I couldn't. And so it looked like a crosswords puzzle when I would write rhymes on papers. So that's how I got it.
If you were a comic book superhero, who would you be and why?
Luke Cage. Reason why is because Luke Cage is identifiable with, average African American males. He has one primary ability, which is his invulnerability. I mean, super strength goes with it, but his invulnerability is what makes him, a character that everybody likes to read about. But at the same time, he's a vulnerable man because he understands that his education isn't up to par with most of his friends or whatever, and his experience level isn't up to par, but at the same time, he still keeps doing it.
What's your favorite part of being a musician, or being a musician to you? What's your favorite part of being a musician?
The creativity part. The creativity part is always the best one when we, brainstorming, or when we're just, messing around with the ciphers, or when we're just coming up with, an idea for a song.
One word question. What is your favorite hip hop album of all time?
See, I can't answer it with just one word, but I'll try. Right now, I honestly feel that and it'll probably change. Follow the Leader was, mine. And it'll change, like, if I think more about it, I'll say, well, Illmatic was, or, everybody has their preferences, but, that would be one for me. So.
Okay, what is a talent you have outside of music?
I'm an artist. I draw things. I'm not like Oz or anything that, multi-talented artist, but I am a, good comic book artist. I'm a good, realistic, drawer. I pretty much see something, I can pretty much copy it. There you go.
How would you describe your rap style in one word?
Eclectic.
Okay. How do you come up with concepts for songs?
I think about what TV shows I like, and I think about the things that happen in those shows, and I try to write rhymes accordingly.
Okay. You're a part of a rap group called Lone Gunman. How did the group name come about?
There was a TV show where these conspiracy theorists, and they were all journalists who, were always searching for the quote unquote truth. And I like the idea. I thought that that's what hip hop needed again. Because everybody at the time when we got together was on some, it's either I'm ultra hard selling dope or I'm ultra flashy, rich, you love me, I hate you. And so we were like, what happened to your public enemies, your ex-clans, your, substance and, art MCs. And I figured it was a conspiracy, and that's when I started doing it. So.
Okay, you're also a member of Department H. How did you become a member of Department H?
Department H is actually Moti's brainchild. He decided that, we need to have a group. We had one iteration beforehand. It was called Smash Group, but things didn't work out the way we wanted them. And so we decided to do it again. We chose, we had a couple of names to run from, and we all voted. And Department H was, it was pretty cool for us. So.
Okay, what does the group name Department H mean to you?
Well, I'm a comic book head. And so in a certain comic book title that was short-lived, as a matter of fact, there are like 4 different volumes and it never catches on. It's called Alpha Flight. And in Alpha Flight, there is their special department, like the CIA has, the NSA or SHIELD or whatever. Department H is theirs, and the director of Department H is, I think his name was Brenna. I can't remember. It was, they change it every time, but it's a, special happening, special events type deal. And so, I thought Department H would be a dope name, but we don't use it that way. We use it for like hip hop or whatever, or, hot bars or whatever H can stand for, but I always thought it was cool.
Cool. What does Department H bring different to the genre of hip hop?
Well, to the genre of hip hop, it doesn't bring anything different. What it does, in my perspective, it's bringing back the crew feel of MCs who want to always show raw talent. It's battle MCs. It's concept MCs. It's it's this crew. It's true school MC type thing. If that is a term.
Okay. What is the name of the first Department H CD?
Narcotics Anonymous.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a dope name. Another question is, if you had to compare Department H to a comic book superhero team, and one of the reasons why we're asking this is because we know Mr. Krosswordze is a comic book enthusiast. But if you had to compare Department H to a comic book hero or superhero team, who would you compare it to?
Well, I mean, since I'm not an egoist or anything, because everybody will sit there and go, oh, my team's the Avengers or my team's the Super Friends or whatever, Justice League. I'm more or less saying that we're like, we're an ad hoc X-Men team or something, like the X-Force, because we're not mainstream, so
Yeah.
we do the dirt nobody else will do,
Word.
especially where we are located. We still trying to bring that whole torch of freestyle concept, that type thing. So yeah, we would be like X-Force.
What was the recording process like putting together your part of the Department H CD?
Like everybody else, everybody took time out, come down. Actually, you would be better off asking, the mic snatcher how that worked out.
Yeah, I was about to say, I heard it was some strenuous events, recording the process.
Well, it's one of the things where, Moti made it to where everyone was to be in a certain place, and, it's like any other family get together. You have, the lack of communication, et cetera. But, it worked out. It was pretty cool. He, Melee, he he was good about it, because he could have been worse.
Okay, you a producer also. Describe your process when I'm searching for samples for music.
You know, the same old, same old. I grew up a, you know, MC who could never get the right beat. And so, you know, I was like, charge it, I can do it myself, you know, arrogant, whatever. And then I realized that, you know, it was a lot more to making beats than, you know, just finding the right sample. And that's what intrigued me. That's why I stayed with it and got into it. Because, you know, once I started hanging around, you know, producers and whatnot, you know, it was usually at studios where I beat used, but when I really started making beats, I started running with this dude named Logic, Professor Logic. You gotta check him out. And he started showing me little ways of cutting samples, making things work. 'Cause I could already play the piano, and I was a big fan of, you know, like everybody else in the world, Dilla, Premier, et cetera, all the greats.
Have you ever recorded a song and hated it? And if so, why?
Oh yeah, man, I've recorded a million songs and hated them because I'm you know, I'm very, very hard on myself as far as an artist. But the reason why I hated them is because when they were concepts, ideas, and I was writing them, I rushed through them, and once I heard them back, it still didn't come out the way I wanted, or, you know, an engineering issue came up, because that's usually the reason why I dislike tracks I do.
Okay, because I know, like, let's say, like, have you ever been involved in the standpoint to where maybe you wrote a song, right? Let's say.
Right.
And then after you wrote it, you said, oh man, I shouldn't be on this type of song. Let me call this dude back and say, you know, hell nah.
No, because usually when I, you know, somebody asks me to do a joint, we'll already, you know, talked about the beat. We've already discussed what the concept is, and I've already agreed to it. Now, when I get into a situation where it's really, you know, fast and jumping off, that's when I, you know, may regret it, because I don't want to necessarily house a track.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want it to be compatible with everybody on it. I don't want to just sit there and, you know, I'm the best MC here, and that doesn't make the song work.
Yeah.
And, you know, I want to make the song work, you know, because like when we were doing Smash Crew, you know, we were given assignments and we were told to write to certain tracks and have it turned in by a deadline. And I fulfilled that part of the obligation, but at the same time, I wanted to work off of the other members, but, you know, because of, you know, everyone's different locale, it was pretty hard. And so when we decided to compare notes at the end of the week or at the deadline, you know.
Okay, how do you feel about the current state of hip hop?
It's great. It's wonderful. I mean, for the record, it is wonderful because, you know, maybe I'm just still higher for A3C or whatever. What I'm saying is that it's, you know, the diversity in hip hop is, it's more genres in hip hop than there is in actual music. It's crazy. You know, you could hear everything from, you know, your grimy gutter, dope dealer joints all the way up to your high, lofty, hug trees and save the earth type deal. So, you know.
So, how is commercial rap different from underground hip hop?
Well, you know, you said right there in this explanation, it's commercial rap. It's to sell something. So if you're trying to sell something, you're going to make it as universal and, you know, as many, you know, product placement, you know, catchy hook, sing-songy, dumbed down, you know, things you can do because you're trying to sell yourself, the products you're speaking about, and everything that you're trying to put out to an audience of people who, in any other circumstance, would not even give you time of day. So, you know.
Okay, interesting. We're gonna piggyback off of that one, and we're gonna say, what's a pro of commercial rap music?
It's like I said, it's just, you know, commercial rap is, you know, to sell something, and when you sell things, you get paid for it. So, yeah, money is always the, you know, motivation for commercial rap. I mean, you don't need it. I'm trying to sell some alcohol right now.
Okay, how do you feel about female MCs currently in hip hop?
Female MCs are pretty. No. I like female MCs as long as they realize they're female MCs.
Right.
You know, here in Atlanta, run across the, you know, I'm harder than you, nigga. Hey, you know, I'm not with them chicks. If that's the case, why are you even, you know?
Okay, if you were rich, would you still do hip hop music?
Well, yes, of course. If I was rich, I would be putting out all the stuff that y'all don't want to hear. I'd be putting out, you know, songs about, you know, wiping glasses and, you know, songs about, you know, gravity dampening fields and, you know, all the stuff that, you know, that y'all don't want to hear, or better yet, a cannabis album.
Word. Wow. Okay. So what does Queens, New York mean to you as a person and as a rapper?
I mean, it's my home as far as when I was a kid, but, you know, I was a small kid in Queens. It wasn't like I was, you know, 15 coming up in Queens. No, 15, I was in South Carolina, running around with everybody down there. So,
yeah.
When I go back to Queens, it's, oh, that's Fat Tyrone. You know, I remember when he was, you know, 5 or 6.
Word.
So it's not like, you know, it doesn't have the same hold as, you know, you know, PR Habs. He have, you know, he's always uptown, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, him and Hafiz, you know, Hafiz is my partner in the Long Gunman. You know, they ran around as teenagers. You know, I mean, I ran around as a teenager in Queens also, but it was only during the summers when I would go back.
Word.
So it's totally different. It is a whole different thing when you grow up and stay somewhere all the time, as opposed to coming back every now and again. Because, you know, being a transplant is different from being a resident. So,
Okay, so in no particular order now, that's going to be the disclaimer on this, okay?
yeah, it's got
Name some of your favorite Queens rappers from Queens. Name some of your favorite ones.
you know, Pharoah Monch, you know, people get mad at me, but, you know, I'm a Biss fan, even though, you know, let's see, old school head, I'm, you know, Large Professor, of course, you know, Nas, of course, Prodigy, kind of.
That's Hempstead now. That's Hempstead, they say.
Well,
They got to listen.
he still rep Queens. You put it that way.
So how about like your tragedies
I mean,
and you know?
I'm a big Gaddafi fan, but the thing about it is, at the same time, you know, I'm a, you know, Gaddafi fan. I'm a tragedy fan when he was tragedy.
Wow.
You know?
Word.
I'm also, I'm a Fife fan, even though Fife, you know, doesn't do anything hot for me, you know, really. But I'm a fan of his because his, you know, flavor.
His contribution to the game.
Yeah, and you know, Q-Tip, you know, everybody's a Tip fan, even though I rhyme circles around Tip, but at the same time, you know, Tip is a hot dude.
Wow. Okay.
50, you know, I can go on.
Word.
I can tell you why I'm fans of these dudes, but at the same time, you know.
Okay, how would you describe the hip hop scene currently in South Carolina?
All right, here's a description. Wind blowing over dusty sand plains, tumbleweeds rolling through, and every time you take a footstep, you hear echo.
This is almost a desolate place then.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's a good
It's not to
description.
say that it's not there, it's just the point that no one gets behind it and flourishes it, because there's sporadic dudes here, there, you know, but there's no real community of hip hop. And, you know, all the dudes who do hip hop in South Carolina,
Yeah.
was down here at A3C, and it was enough that we could all fit in one car.
Okay. Say 2 lines from one of your songs that describe you.
I'm out to do what I can, which means I'm hustling and back to the block, and I stop struggling. That's drug smuggling, back to the rock.
Wow. That's dope, y'all. Check that out. How important is freestyle to your repertoire as an MC?
It's one of the things where you know, to me personally, you have to have it. That's how you come up with concepts. That's how you sit here and figure out if the flow works. It's how you sit here and, you know, test a beat, because you're going to have to be able to spit over, you know, any given beat at any given time. And, you know, the more you work on your freestyle, the more you can sit here and work on concepts of writing and different ways to approach tracks to keep people interested. Because if you can keep people interested in your freestyles, then you can definitely keep them interested in your writtens.
Okay. You're part of Thriving Label. also infant stage label called Love Long Records.
Right.
What is your part in Love Long Records?
Technically, I'm the artist liaison, as it were. I'm the person that they call when they're running out of ideas or they need to be have an idea polished, or I help with the writing credits to most songs, or I help with the production credits to most songs, or if an artist needs to get in touch with another artist out of that, and if there's a situation where we have to have something done, I'll make sure to go in and lay verses to motivate everyone else to finish up.
Okay. This is a question that a lot of fans want to know. Will we ever get another Lone Gunman album?
Yeah. I mean, me and Hafiz have no problem with sitting down and writing things. It's just the point that the Beast feels that it's not top priority for him anymore. And he's got a lot of things going on, and he has a successful business he's running now. So, of course, when you're not as motivated by one thing, you're not going to put all your time into it, even though he loves it. He still sits down and writes rhymes every day. I just gave him a stack of beats 2 weeks ago. And he's got things going on, and he still freestyles in the car or calls me with a line that he wrote or something. But as far as running forth and back, to the studio or trying to book shows like that, it's not really happening. But
cool.
He will show up if I ask.
Okay, so we're gonna look forward to that this year coming up. Going back to Department H, what's the grand goal of releasing the CD?
The grand goal is to sit here and have a squad album that comes out. It's pretty nice and hot, and to show that we're putting forth the effort to keep the feel of hip hop that we grew up with, as far as from my perspective.
Okay.
In the not mainstream, but in the music scene, put it that way.
Okay, y'all, check it out, man. We've been sitting here with Krosswordze, member of Lone Gunman, almost A&R, or A&R, something like that, you can say, a big part of Love Long Records, also a big part of Department H. Cross, signing off, how can we get in touch with you, like cyber world-wise, or?
Well, on Twitter it's at Krosswordze. It's Krosswordze. Because there's a lot of clowns out there that claim they're Krosswordze. And if y'all don't like it, see me. I will battle for the name. I've always have, so it's nothing new.
Okay.
Other than that, I use my government on most everything else. It's dharris434@gmail.com. It's the same on Google+. It's the same on Facebook, et cetera, et cetera. Not really a big dude now. If you really want to, get ill, though, you can find me at Gustav Graves on SoundCloud to hear all the music we're doing on SoundClick, same.
Cool. All right, man. Well, thanks for sitting down with us today, Krosswordze. This is Department H TV. We got one of the illest MCs in the game. You know what I mean?
Peace.
Peace.